Hello my friends, and welcome back to the channel. Ever since I can remember, I've had this anxiety, worry and constant low-level depression hanging over me. I have to manage my mental health and my anxiety on a daily basis to stay sober. It's become supremely important for me to do that. And it's been behind a lot of my drinking in the past and my drug using in the past. If I look back at my childhood, and I've stopped blaming my childhood for my years of addiction now. I've taken responsibility myself, as I've said many times on the channel. And I've tried to fix these issues myself and let go of the past, which I think is really important. However, the first sort of 7 years of anyone's life are those formative years when you're constantly watching your parents and those around you. You're learning behaviours. Any trauma or stuff like that you experienced during those years stays with you all of your life. Even if you're unconscious of it, it affects everything, your reactions to everything. And in this video, by the way, I'm not talking about depression, serious depression that is medicated. Please don't come off any medications for your anxiety and depression without talking to your doctor first. However, I don't take any medication at all now. I manage my anxiety, and I'll tell you how in a second. If I look back at my past, those first 7 years, because we talk about whether we inherit addictions, whether it's hereditary or whether we learn it's learnt behaviour from those we see, our peers, our parents or whatever, or those traumas and pain that we suffer constantly throughout our life, particularly in those early years of life. For me, there's a few things that I think about sometimes. My granddad committed suicide. Before I was born, I never knew him. It was only something I found out later. But he was a man, a dark man that ended up shooting himself. And this is way back in the early 1900s. And I think to myself, maybe some of those genes made it down the chain. And also from my childhood, my father was not a nice man. And he walked out. There was violence and constant arguing in the home. And he walked out at sort of 4 years old I was. Never saw him again. My mother disintegrated into alcoholism and pill using. And we suffered, me and my brother. Basically, if it wasn't for my grandmother, who brought us up, God knows what would have happened. However, we didn't have much money, and we went to school in different clothes, and we were different, and we were bullied because of that. And my self-worth became extremely low. I became very shy, a very worrisome child, a child full of anxiety. And as the years progressed, I suppose, you don't realise any of this at the time, but as the years progressed, and I sort of got into my teens, social anxiety became a massive thing for me. I couldn't go into a large group of people, constantly had my head down to the floor, couldn't look anyone in the eye, felt less than all the time, until I discovered that first drink and that first drug. I think it was weed, the first drug, and of course the alcohol. Suddenly magically found I could entertain everyone in the room, and that social anxiety and that worry and that low-level depression and mood just disappeared. And things sort of snowballed on from there. On the channel, you can have a look at, look back. I'll tell my life story in more, if you're interested, in more detail further back in the channel. And by the way, please subscribe, like and share the videos. Just helps 1 or 2 more people see them. And also click the link in the description and have a read of that and see how you can become more involved in the channel and help it out. If the videos help you, and perhaps you can help the channel. Thank you. So yes, it magically disappeared, that anxiety, when I drank or I used a drug. And then that became regular until, of course, dependence sets in. Long periods over years and years and years, stopping, starting. But when I stopped, the anxiety and the low-level depression came back. For years, I was medicated with Effexor, venlafaxine, which is an antidepressant. But the more I look back, the more I wasn't managing my mood. I wasn't eating properly, wasn't exercising, constantly drinking, using drugs, dark thoughts, mixing with the wrong people, in the wrong places, at the wrong times. And none of that's helpful with addiction. And when it gets hold of you, things become even darker, obviously, as you know. And the thing with drinking in particular, one drink raises the cortisol levels and the anxiety in the body for days. It stays raised. So all I was doing was exacerbating my anxiety and my low-level depression with the drugs and the drink I was using over years and years and years, until I could break that cycle. Today, for me, managing my mental health is number one priority. There's two things at the top of my agenda. AA, which I'll talk about in another video, because I know it's not for everyone. However you find sobriety is obviously brilliant and up to you. But that connection and that learning and that open-mindedness, and getting rid of the idea that it's a cult and God and all of that, because I'm a very spiritual person, but not a religious person. But AA has been the making of me in that respect, with that connection and learning. But managing the anxiety and the depression has been paramount. And I do that through diet. Sugar is the worst thing. I've talked to you about it many times. I eat cleanly, nothing processed. Takes time, you can't just do it overnight. And I exercise every single day. I'm out today in the hills. I felt crappy this morning. I woke up feeling shitty, and that would have spiraled out of control if I hadn't got out. Yes, I'm in the sunshine. I'm lucky here where I live. But it wouldn't matter if it was pissing with rain. I'd still be out here hiking in the hills. I'd still start my day with a healthy smoothie, a veggie smoothie. I'd still eat a chicken breast with broccoli when I got home. I'd still lift some weights and do 100 press-ups this afternoon. I'd still do it all, because I know that's what I need to do every day, just to keep that stuff flowing around my body that's going to make me feel good. And I know if I eat my probiotics and look after my gut health, that my serotonin levels will stay high and I won't need those pills. So please, if you're thinking of changing your life and you suffer, which most of you will do out there, from this anxiety, this worry, this lack of self-worth, self-esteem, low mood, you can change all that yourself. All you got to do is start creating habits, start practicing consistency, start with small goals, start moving forward, do it every day, day in, day out. No excuses, take responsibility, and you will and can change the way you feel, stop your addictions and change your life. I hope that's been of some use to you. Please subscribe and like. Much love to you all. Carpe diem. Seize the day today. If you're feeling bad, don't forget another thing. This too shall pass. It sounds corny, but it's bloody true. Thank you. Bye-bye.